Oh, you know Graciela.
That's only because we do the research.
Yeah, we did the research, but yeah, that was
No,
intense,
she's a pretty dynamic lady.
How did you two meet?
You know, we met through Wally J. It was either I think it was a convention we went to,
You were
and that's
both
how I
mad
met.
at Wally.
Wanted to kick his ass.
No, we actually met at the convention. He invited her to do a class, right?
Okay.
And so we got to talking, and we just bonded.
Yeah,
we just,
because you were both
right
martial
away.
artists. And,
Well, it was just the fact that I think we had a lot in common,
Right, exactly.
and she was a really dynamic lady. We just became really good friends, and we continued to be friends. We had a small setback because when she married Ernie Boggs, who was the world champion in karate.
Right.
And then she moved to West Virginia, so I lost contact with her for about 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And it just so happened I regained contact with her. She was on Facebook. And I contacted her and I said, "Hey, Graciela, it's me, Denise." And she said, "Oh my gosh." So
Where you been?
she moved back to California. We ended up our friendship again, and I invited her to come to Camp Donzanru.
Oh, wow.
Which is in Santa Cruz area. And so she came, and so we rekindled our friendship, and so we've been really good friends ever since. And I go down there every once in a while, and I see her at, conventions and seminars and
That's cool.
whatever. And
That
we
is
call
very
each other
cool.
all the time, so we're really good friends.
Is she still with the karate
No,
champion?
no. They split up a long time ago.
That's why she moved back.
Yeah, they split up a long time ago.
Do you find that it's still hard for now, like for women to get anywhere?
Yeah, is that
No,
changed?
I don't think it's that bad anymore.
I mean, you mentioned Ronda Rousey, which means they're getting. I mean, even Cyborg and all these other women. I'm like,
Yeah, there's a lot of
some of them
prominent
scare me,
women
you know.
fighters. Oh,
They should.
Some?
Yeah.
Some
They
do?
scare
No,
me, dude.
I wouldn't.
No, but I think it's completely different now.
Yeah.
I think that men have a lot more respect for them. Even when I teach, I've had several male students, and it's funny because now they don't even look at me. They look at me as a sensei.
Right.
First, before a
first.
woman, yeah.
They don't even really think of the idea that I'm a woman because
You should come in a dress.
really freak them out. Come here, get your ass whooping.
But I mean that's wonderful. But in your experience personally, had it not been that difficult for you, do you think you would have advanced further or less without that pressure?
probably further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
I think
wondering.
you're very motivated in what you do.
Yeah.
It seems like you really, when you set your mind to something, you're going.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I worked with lawyers, so yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were a
wait. What? Paralegal.
yeah.
How did
Well, I was in the medical field for 20 years first.
how did that?
I
work?
actually worked in emergency medicine, so I worked as an EMT, and I also worked in the emergency room, and then I worked as a dialysis technician
Right.
for about 17 years. And then I decided I didn't want to be a nurse.
We're just gonna brush over the fact that you were in the ER. I mean, that's ground zero for crazy stuff coming in.
know.
People, hey, I'm missing a finger. Did you bring it with you? I don't remember where I left it.
No,
It flew off while I
yeah.
was punched.
Well, I'll tell you, my martial arts came in handy in a couple of cases.
Oh, 'cause some of them are.
We had the
Really?
mental health contract for the ambulance I used to work with.
Oh, wow.
So every once in a while, they would come at you.
A schizo just kind of going crazy.
I could just hear, come here.
No, we didn't go that. You can't hurt them. You can't hurt them. You can restrain them. You can restrain them.
She's like, come here. That's funny.
Wow, so you were that, and then you said for 17 years and worked dialysis technician. How'd you get into becoming a paralegal?
I didn't want to be a nurse. It was kind of a choice. I maxed
Yeah,
out.
how long were you doing the nursing stuff?
I was a dialysis tech for 17 years.
17.
And then you just decided, I don't want to
No,
do this?
I just
like,
the
done.
medical director had asked me, Denise, why don't you become a nurse? And I thought about it. I thought, I don't want to work weekends anymore. I don't want to work holidays anymore. I'm just burnt out.
Right.
I don't want to be a human janitor
So
anymore.
that was 17
'Cause
years.
basically that's what you were.
At
you
this
know?
point, how old were you at that time?
I was in my 40s, 40s.
So you actually lived a full life of doing a career thing in.
Yeah, and I
After her first marriage.
Yeah. After the,
Well, no, the first marriage lasted only 5 years. I was married to a Sacramento police officer.
Oh,
Wow.
really? Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
you know,
the second
more
time,
we
yeah.
peel back these little onion
Yeah,
things,
yeah. I was
we're
like,
getting these
okay, she
crazy
was married for 5. So
things
she,
keep
by 25, she
Dude,
was
we
divorced.
can't have to go. Wait, let me
Wait,
just
hold on,
stop
let's
talking
go
about
back.
that one. Let's go back to this.
We have no sense of tracking time at all.
Yeah,
whatever,
not with you,
whatsoever,
anyways.
no.
You're just bouncing all over the place. This is, you know,
That's
and this is
interesting,
what
though.
we love about what we do.
Yeah.
Because we hear these stories that we would never otherwise hear about. And they're so much more fascinating than the martial arts aspect.
Yeah.
You know, because here it is, EMT.
It's like cosmopolitan,
Paralegal,
right?
Yeah, it's like all these
But
things.
by the time she got married, she was already 8 years training
Right.
in judo, and
Yeah.
she marries a cop. Was he young too, or was he?
No. We were both like, let me see, maybe 28, 30 around there.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. So yeah, that's
And then I divorced him.
Uh-huh.
After 16 years.
Done. Oh, really?
16 years.
So first marriage 5, then 16. Where are you now in your love life?
Single.
Let's tie a bow.
she's
on.
sing-
It's complicated. It's complicated. Let's put it
She's
that.
single with a howley, as she says, as she explained it to us.
Enough of that. Enough
The
of
island
that.
never goes away, does it?
No, no, it doesn't.
Right? That stays with you forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that even when we were walking in there. It's like, yep, this is what.
And every once in a while, you get that the accent that comes out. We're like, oh,
Yeah.
certain words just kind of
She
pop out.
actually called Las Vegas the 8th island.
Ninth.
Ninth.
Oh, ninth
Ninth.
island. Holy. I mean, like I said, the
Well, that's
island-
what when you talk to any of the islanders, they all say the same thing. This is the ninth island.
Oh, that's funny. And there's nowhere near water.
Yeah,
It
you
doesn't
are
have to be
surrounded by
because there's so many Hawaiians here.
Right.
There's so many island people here. You know that's why. If you go down to California Hotel is
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
okay down there, all Hawaiian.
Really?
That's
Yep,
funny.
all Hawaiian. And then of course the Chinatown is real close by.
Right.
Oh, so
Yeah.
there you go.
So and if you go to all these little small restaurants, they have. You go to like the breakfast place, Pegs down here. They have spam, and they
Oh.
have rice, and they have Portuguese sausage.
I was going to ask you why we didn't have spam earlier.
I
Because she didn't cook,
I get-
remember?
She didn't want to
didn't
cook. That's right.
She's already got her holidays set up for cooking, so she doesn't want to do that.
Where do you want to be 5 years from now?
Here.
Here, anywhere. Where would you like to be?
Yeah.
I mean,
In martial
State of
arts?
I kind
mind,
of like
martial
I like
arts.
what I'm doing right
Yeah.
now. I mean, I'll probably be doing the same thing. I really enjoy. I'll tell you how I got started. When I was looking for a screamer, right?
Right.
And I met this guy who's from Hawaii, and he and his wife are from Hawaii, and they were looking for a judo instructor. And
Serendipitously.
here I was actually
Looking for a screamer.
And as we talked and we started to know the same things, he says, I'm actually looking for a judo instructor. And I said, there you go.
Yeah. You teach me and I'll
You
teach
teach
you.
me and I'll teach them.
And that's it. I said, look, I would love to teach. I
Wow.
would love to
Wow.
teach because he had lost two judo instructors. He
Right.
had one, and the guy's job, I guess, moved him to Texas or something.
Okay.
And so he was teaching them, and then they got another one, and the guy was mostly a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy.
Oh.
And I guess there was a falling out, and so he left. So they haven't had a judo instructor for about 3 or 4 years. And so the kids that he had at the time were like 7 and 8 years old, and now they're teenagers, right? So they still remember a lot of the stuff, and his son is actually really good. There's a lot of them who still know some of the stuff, but the one thing the instructor didn't teach him was how to block or counter, which is essential.
Right.
The number one rule in judo is don't get thrown, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want to learn. Don't get thrown.
Right.
So, I of course the first thing I did was teach him how to block and how to counter.
Can you teach me that first before we do the demonstration?
He wants to be able to. He wants to be able to block you.
It's not gonna work, but I want to feel empowered at least.
I know something.
No problem.
Wow, that's so cool. You're looking for something, and then like, hey, you know judo? You wanna?
So, before we stray too far away,
Oh, right.
who's the other girl, Janice or Janice?
Janice Okamoto, very good friend. I met Janice at in Monterey. She was at I think it was a convention that they had, and she was a Wally J student. And I had
Also-
left Professor J
Right.
years ago, and during the time I'm married and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And she came running up to me and she says, "You're Denise Gonzalez." I
Wow,
said,
she
"Yeah."
recognized you. That's
And
amazing.
yeah, because Wally
great.
still keeps up. It's like a museum in there. He keeps up all of the
Oh.
pictures.
I thought she like put like your head size to the dent and was like, "Ah, I know that
I
head."
know that. I know that head. I recognize that.
So she came down and introduced herself, and I found out that Wally J had he was still teaching, and so she was one of his advanced students, and so we just got to be friends, and we would go get together now and then. Either I'd hang out at her place, and she lives in Fremont now, and she actually has been teaching Danzanryu.
Wow.
She doesn't teach judo. She teaches Danzanryu, which basically judo. There's judo in Danzanryu. It's the same thing. Jiu-Jitsu, judo comes from jiu-jitsu. So
Right.
Right.
anyway, Janice has been teaching, and her students are incredible. They're really incredible. She's actually beat. We belong to AJI, which is American Jiu-Jitsu Institute, and that was established in Hawaii.
Oh wow.
And so every other year we have an ohana, and the way that ohana works is there's seven what they call Yodan-shikais, which is several organizations that are all part of Danzanryu. There's
Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu America, AJI. There's one down in Southern California. So there's about 3 or 4 of them.
And that's the umbrella.
That's
that-
the umbrella, which all of them have come together to the ohana every other year. And every other year they have it in different places. Like next year it's going to be in Foster City. The year after that it'll be in Hawaii.
Wait, it's going to be in Foster City next year?
Mhm.
Hey, can we go?
It's open to anybody.
Oh,
you know?
sweet.
This gives me a great idea. I would love to have you, Janice, Garella,
Graciela.
Graciela.
He's terrible with names.
Yeah, Melia, and just have a girl session, because we're doing this thing on our 25th episode of the roundtable discussion on, what would you
What
do?
would you do? Yeah.
And I would love to have the.
Well, Malia and Graciela know each other.
Yo,
Dude, this would be awesome. We should.
dude, Gooks, yeah, we want to have an all-woman kind of panel.
Yeah.
And to touch a bit on that, I believe that you're also part of an organization of female martial artists. I forget the
Yeah.
name. What's the name?
Association of Women Martial Arts Instructors.
There you go. And I thought that was
Now,
really cool.
how did that come about? Because that's a fascinating story. Nick.
Yeah.
Dara Marcy and Jamie, I can't remember Jamie's last name, they started the organization. Because I think, and from what I understand, I don't know a whole lot about the organization. I just know that those two were the founders. And my understanding was that they had attended a lot of different organizations that were run by men.
Right.
And they decided, they had this brainstorm and said, we really need, there's a lot of women out there that are instructors. And we really need to go ahead and bond together.
Yeah, we know
So
a
they
few.
created this organization.
Right.
And it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a really good organization. They have it, I went to a couple in San Diego. They just had one in Florida.
Oh, wow.
And
they're all
so
over.
there was going to be one in Texas in February. However, with the
COVID,
COVID,
yeah.
they've had to cancel it. So what they're doing is they are doing it like a streaming type of thing.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of people are moving on to that.
So
Difficult, but-
they're going to do that, and then the following year may be in Texas. So who knows?
That sounds
That's
exciting.
cool.
But it's kind of cool. There's a couple of them. There's a couple of mini ones that aren't instructor ones. They're just female ones.
Okay.
There's a Pacific Association for Women Martial Artists, which is PAMA, they call.
PAMA.
And then there's a national one. So there's like 3 different organizations just strictly for women.
That's awesome, and I would love to get more information out there for any of the viewers because we do. Mike Cardenas, our previous guest, mentioned how the martial arts are sort of dying out.
Yeah, it's kind of shrinking.
It's
he said,
shrinking in that sense, but I mean, women weren't that prominent in the beginning when you were around, when you first started, and now there's more, but is that also shrinking? Do you see
I
that?
don't think so.
No?
I don't think so at all. I think more and more women are becoming attracted to it.
Yeah,
You know?
women
Because
are replacing the
yeah,
men that are
that are
falling
leaving.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, because I met some really, in these organizations, I met some pretty dynamic women.
Right.
And a lot of them have their own dojos, and they're huge dojos.
Really?
Yeah, there's one in Berkeley. It's called hand-to-hand combat. It's a Kaju Kembo group.
Oh,
Sonia runs that one, and it's
We should reach out.
it's huge. It's huge.
I used to train under Susan Budge. She did Omne Dojo in San Bruno, and hers was a Shorin-ryu, Okinawan style of some sort. And she was also on the cover of Black Belt. And I was really, I was disappointed in what I saw there, because you remember back in the 80s when Karate Kid was first coming out. Then you had all of these McDojos and Karate USAs pop up, and you go there and they say, oh, for $12.95 for the for a year you become a black belt.
I hate that.
Right? And I get to her school and it was very much like that, and I was really disappointed. But but she was, for what she was doing, kind of a pioneer in her own thing, because she was also a female instructor. She had her own dojo, all of those things that comes with that title. But I thought that it was really sad when you get there and you see that she was one of those schools that would, she saw me and she said, oh, you're doing really well. You learned the concepts really fast. How would you like to belt up? I said, oh, if you think I'm ready. She goes, oh, yeah, I think you are. So she goes, okay, it's this much for the belt, this much for the test. I'm like, and then that just turned me off. I mean, you know
I get
these
that. I
schools,
get
right?
that.
And
Well, and it's funny
Those
because
are really
I
disappointing.
actually have promotions coming up for these students, but it's a yellow belt. It's
Oh,
it's a
okay.
nothing belt, right? So I taught them some Danzanryu, and I said, okay, we're getting yellow belt. The first thing the instructor asked me, he said, this is a head instructor. He says, how much are you going to charge for your
See?
test? And I said, I don't charge for testing.
right.
And he says, well, we'll make them pay for the belt. I said, no, I'll buy the belt. And he was kind of surprised. He
Yeah.
says, why? And I said, because they earned it.
Yeah.
Even my instructor, Wally J, we never bought our belts.
Right.
Now,
He made you wait.
if you're a black belt
Right.
Yeah.
and you belong to the organization,
Okay.
you have to buy your belt.
Right. That's
Which, when I got my belt in judo, my black belt in judo, that was $350
what? For
to
the
be
belt.
a part of that organization.
Oh, to be part of the organization.
Well, because
to be recognized.
Yeah.
because you're a
Yeah.
black belt in the
Right,
organization.
right,
So
Yeah,
each
no, I
time
get
you
that.
become a black belt,
you had to
you
do
got to
that.
pay,
Yeah.
and that's expensive, and that's ridiculous.
Right.
So to me, I don't care if I get another rank. This buying it.
That's why she's not a grandmaster yet. She's like,
no.
oh, it's stopped.
Grandmaster is different.
Really?
Grandmaster is the person like Professor J.
Okay.
He is the founder of Small Circle Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
So he's the grandmaster.
Of that.
Yeah.
Now you can inherit, like his son Leon inherited
The title, yeah.
the title, right? But other than that, you don't just call.
No, because some people just appoint themselves grandmasters
Yeah.
of something.
Yeah, we get stories about
Yeah,
that all
we've
the time.
come
The
across
guy,
a few
It's
people.
my dojo. I'm the grandmaster.
Right.
Yeah, I've known a couple of those.
And you can tell they have no clue what they're doing. Or
No.
look at that face. She's like, look at that face on her. She's like,
Don't speak
Yeah,
ill of
yeah,
people.
yeah.
I'm going to church tomorrow.
I know Art Gonzalez wanted me to look this guy up who has a dojo here in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And he says, oh, because then I'll come down and visit you, and then you can go to his dojo. And so I looked him up, and he's got this resume, huge resume.
already something's wrong.
And I
Red
read
flag.
it. Yeah, and I read it, and I'm thinking, is this guy legit?
Yeah.
And so I called my friend Ali Komodo, and I said, did you read this guy's, resume, his
Yeah.
bio and stuff? And he says, yeah, it doesn't sound right. I said, I don't think so. I don't think I want to be affiliated with him. I've never heard of him. He's
Right,
never
right,
been
right,
on Black
right.
Belt Magazine. He's
Right.
never written it.
But
maybe
he's a friend
got-
of Art, so look him up.
No, Art. Art
Oh.
just said he's an acquaintance and he's
Okay,
known.
yeah,
And
okay.
I thought, okay. And he says, well, his martial art's pretty good. And I go, which one?
He has a lot.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of that, where a lot of people say I'm this and I'm that and I'm
Right,
this
right.
and I'm
You
know-
that.
you
And
know they're
and
not.
I was kind of surprised. In fact, that was that one guy that I saw. USA Dojo.
Uh-huh.
You know
Yeah.
Dana Samos.
I've heard of that.
She actually chastised this guy on USA Dojo. It was Bodai Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, ooh, you know, for her to do that.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this guy must not be legit at all.
Because where's the governing body that
That's supposed to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I said, but the organizations that we belong to are very well known. They're thousands
Established,
they're
yeah.
established. They've been around for a long time. They started like AJI was started and with Professor Okazaki, you know. So then the organization continued on. Now it branched off because the testosterone problem, where the guys, hey, I don't believe
Falling
in this, and all,
out,
it was
yeah.
falling out. So they started their own organization.
You know, you're talking about falling out and stuff, and Danny is a firm believer of wanting to stay out of the politics.
The politics, yeah.
Of martial arts. What are your? What's
Oh,
your
I
thought?
hate the politics of the
Yeah.
martial. I don't get involved.
Because it's really heavy, isn't it? I mean,
I don't.
It's
Yeah,
just so.
I don't get involved. I try not to. I know that sometimes you don't have a choice.
Right, especially if you're trying to grow whatever you.
Yeah, but you know, for me, I just want to teach.
Right,
I want to have. I want my students to have fun. I want them to enjoy, and I want them to be able to take care of themselves. That's all I care about. I don't care about who's higher rank and who's not a higher rank. You know, I understand. Like my friend Janice always says, you know, you're a woman and you need to be recognized
Right.
in rank.
Right.
And it's like, okay, fine. You know, I mean, that's kind of my attitude. I don't care. I know who I am.
Right.
I like me. I like what I do. I enjoy what I do. The people around me who know me know who I am and
Right.
what I do and respect me. And that's all I care about. You know?
You know, and it's like that for us too. We don't have any belts or anything like that in our. We just know what we know.
I have my belt. Holds
Yeah.
my pants up.
Yeah. We need to buy a new one.
I know.
But yeah, we have never. Danny has always said we're not going to do any ranks. We're not going to be called guru, sensei, or any of that stuff. We're just brother. You know, koya.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then I said, perfect. That's a good idea, because there's no egos.
Oh, yeah.
You're just
Oh,
guys
yeah.
who are sharing what you know and teaching each other.
Have you? Because I know it's obvious that in the kind of male-led martial arts, there's a lot of ego that goes around. A lot of.
I'm sure you've
boasting.
seen a lot of that.
Do you see that in women at all? Is
You
there
know,
any-
a few women.
Yeah?
There are a few
Wow.
women
A few
who have
then.
egos. Yep.
Is that surprising?
Yeah.
Really?
It's not. It's not at all. It's not surprising. I think any profession, whether it's martial arts or
Yeah.
even in business, you know, you're going to see that.
You have somebody who wants
Yeah.
to be the lion in the den, and you know, yeah.
The alpha.
Even in politics, you see that.
Oh yeah, definitely
Yeah.
politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It-
it is what it is, you know. It's just what's in here,
Yeah.
what it's all about. It's like in martial
I
arts.
tend to think in martial arts, everybody really does show their true colors, though,
right.
more than in anywhere.
Well,
else
like I
that I've
said,
ever
you
seen.
know, part of being a martial artist, a true martial artist, is being humble.
Right.
You know, it's not having that big ego. We're always a white belt. I don't
Yes.
care what rank you
Yeah,
are.
always
You're
a
always a
student.
white belt,
Always a
and you
student,
need
yeah,
to
definitely.
learn.
That's a wonderful.
You know,
thing.
I think it's better that way.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that when Malia was telling us, yeah, she was a white belt. I'm like, what?
White belt master. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a white belt master. I go, well, what was that all about? You know, and she tells the story. And it's like, oh, okay, but that was crazy to hear that. And then for you to repeat that to say, yeah, we're all white belts. I get that.
It
Yeah.
seems like the women are a little wiser than we are.
Oh, by far, by far. I won't even deny it. I was like,
Well, you know, even when I was I took up Krav Maga, right?
yeah, we saw that.
And I took that for a couple of years, and I never told the instructor that I was a martial artist. I never told him. I went in, and I was very open-minded of learning. And the only reason why he figured it out was they